Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock. Before we begin, please silence your phones so that we can enjoy the peace in the sanctuary. We have announcements in the bulletin, so please look at those. Take the chalice and do our welcome. Our welcome this morning is by Desmond Tutu. You know how things come across just as you need them? So this showed up in my life this last week. We are made for goodness. We are made for love. We are made for friendliness. We are made for togetherness. We are made for all of the beautiful things that you and I know. We are made to tell the world that there are no outsiders. All are welcome. Black, white, red, yellow, rich, poor, educated, not educated, male, female, gay, straight, all. We all belong to this family, this human family. So this morning, we are celebrating spring with several speakers. Marley made the altar here. It's absolutely beautiful. At the end of the service, I have little note cards and pencils and construction paper and crayons, so you can make your own contribution. Whether you want to just put it on silently or say something about it, you can add it to our altar. So we have William today talking about the survey that was done a while ago. So service as a sacred act. So come on up.
So what demonstrates a thriving, loving community? People helping out. And what we passed out was the work that the committee has done over the last 4 or 5 months to kind of get a sense of what we wanted to do and what we didn't want to do, what we had energy for and what we didn't. And we've kind of narrowed that down, and people have identified both macro roles, lead kind of roles, and micro roles, just where we can help out a little bit. And that's what you see in front of you. And if you don't see your name there and you'd like to help out, just drop me a note. You can write it on that piece of paper and give it back to me. And that helps us really create the thriving community that we are. Thank you.
Next, we're going to the altar, which so Marley put that together. It's so in awe of it. But she didn't want to do a blessing with it. But I do have a kind of reading. It's ancient lore about spring. So as you observe spring, you'll notice it starts with the ground. The ground starts to warm. The insects are underneath there. They're starting to come up, the worms and grubs, whatever is down there. The roots are spreading out. And then we start to see the grass growing and the little violets popping up and our daffodils and crocuses. And then the things like the forsythia and the dogwood start blooming. And then you start moving up, and then the trees are starting to bud out. And it just seems sunnier. So if your spirits feel like they're rising in spring, they actually are. Just like the tree sap coming up to the tops of the trees, our spirits know that from the depths of the darkness of winter, now our spirits are rising up toward the sky in spring. It's not just an attitude, it's an actual thing that's happening within us. Thank you. Now, this is a collaborative service today. Instead of a speaker, we have several people sharing spring. And just to make it easier, so Donna, when you're done, if you introduce Diana, et cetera, down there. So I won't keep jumping back and forth.
So, Charlene asked me to think of something about spring to share with you, and spring to me means rebirth, and it means the promise that life goes on, and where things are reborn. In my pagan tradition, we always think of the direction of east, and the element of air as blowing in the fresh and the new. And I was reminded of a short story that my son Benjamin shared with me when he was in high school about 10 years ago. And it always kind of stuck with me. It's very interesting. So I wanted to share that with you. It's called The Egg by Andy Weir. You were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident. Nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. You left behind a wife and 2 children. It was a painless death. The EMTs tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered, you were better off, trust me. And that's when you met me. What happened, you asked. Where am I? You died, I said, matter-of-factly. No point in mincing words. There was a truck. It was skidding. Yep, I said. I died? Yep, but don't feel bad about it. Everyone dies, I said. You looked around. There was nothingness, just you and me. What is this place, you asked. Is this the afterlife? More or less, I said. Are you God? You asked. Yep, I'm God. My kids? My wife, you said. What about them? Will they be all right? That's what I like to see, I said. You just died, and your main concern is for your family. That's good stuff right there. You looked at me with fascination. To you, I didn't look like God. I just looked like some man, or possibly a woman. Some vague authority figure, maybe. More of a grammar school teacher than the Almighty. Don't worry, I said. They'll be fine. Your kids will remember you as perfect in every way. They didn't have time to grow contempt for you. Your wife will cry on the outside, but will be secretly relieved. To be fair, your marriage was falling apart. If it's any consolation, she'll feel very guilty for feeling relieved. Oh, you said. So what happens now? Do I go to heaven or hell or something? Neither, I said. You'll be reincarnated. Ah, you said. So the Hindus were right. All religions are right in their own way, I said. Walk with me. You followed along as we strode through the void. Where are we going? Nowhere in particular, I said. It's just nice to walk while we talk. So what's the point then, you asked? When I get reborn, I'll just be a blank slate, right? A baby. So all my experiences and everything I did in this life won't matter? Not so, I said. You have within you all the knowledge and experiences of all your past lives. You just don't remember them right now. I stopped walking and took you by the shoulders. Your soul is more magnificent, beautiful, and gigantic than you can possibly imagine. A human mind can only contain a tiny fraction of what you are. It's like sticking your finger in a glass of water to see if it's hot or cold. You put a tiny part of yourself into the vessel, and when you bring it back out, you've gained all the experiences it had. You've been a human for the last 48 years, so you haven't stretched out yet and felt the rest of your immense consciousness. If we hung out here for long enough, you'd start remembering everything. But there's no point in doing that between each life. How many times have I been reincarnated then? Oh, lots. Lots and lots. And into lots of different lives, I said. This time around, you'll be a Chinese peasant girl in 540 AD. Wait, what? You stammered. You're sending me back in time? Well, I guess technically, time as you know it only exists in your universe. Things are different where I come from. Where you come from, you said? Oh, sure, I explained. I come from somewhere else. And there are others like me. I know you'll want to know what it's like there, but honestly, you wouldn't understand. Oh, you said, a little let down. But wait, if I get reincarnated to other places in time, I could have interacted with myself at some point. Sure, happens all the time. And with both lives only aware of their own lifespan, you don't even know it's happening. So what's the point of it all? Seriously, I asked. Seriously? You're asking me for the meaning of life? Isn't that a little stereotypical? Well, it's a reasonable question, you persisted. I looked you in the eye. The meaning of life, the reason I made this whole universe, is for you to mature. You mean mankind. You want us to mature. No, just you. I made this whole universe for you. With each new life, you grow and mature and become a larger and greater intellect. Just me? What about everyone else? There is no one else, I said. In this universe, there's just you and me. You stared blankly at me. But all the people on Earth, all you. Different incarnations of you. Wait, I'm everyone? Now you're getting it, I said with a congratulatory slap on the back. I'm every human being who ever lived, or who ever will live, yes. I'm Abraham Lincoln, and you're John Wilkes Booth, too. I'm Hitler, you asked, appalled, and you're the millions he killed. I'm Jesus, and you're everyone who followed him. You fell silent. Every time you victimize someone, I said, you are victimizing yourself. Every act of kindness you've done to yourself. Every happy and sad moment ever experienced by any human was or will be experienced by you. You thought for a long time. Why, you asked me, why do all this? Because someday you will become like me, because that's what you are. You are one of my kind. You are my child. Whoa, you said, incredulous. You mean I'm a god? No, not yet. You're a fetus. You're still growing. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you have grown enough to be born. So the whole universe, you said, it's just an egg, I answered. Now it's time for you to move on to your next life. And I sent you on your way. And next is Diana Jameson with Ode to My Grandmother.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. In the magical garden of silver pearl, my grandmother, the one who first taught me about love, welcomed the spring. Blossoms opened the orchard to light. Apples, cherries, gooseberries, strawberries, rhubarb lifting its crimson hands from the cool, dark soil. Everything promising sweetness to come. I had my own branch in the apple tree, a cradle of bark and leaves, where I could sit above the grass, nearly hidden in the green. I carved small hearts and initials into the silvered bark, certain the tree would keep my secrets and hold me safely there. We children raced the birds for the fairies, for the cherries, laughing in the branches, our fingers stained red, before the robins claimed their share. And when the robins came, searching the soft earth for worms, we knew what they were saying. Winter is being escorted back to the hinterlands. Later, the hollyhocks rose tall, their blossoms like royal gowns. Among them, my hollyhock dolls appeared, petal skirts flowing, their hair piled high, as only queens would know how to wear it. And somewhere in that garden, among blossoms and birds and children, Silver Pearl moved quietly, tending the deeper knowing that love grows like spring itself, returning and returning and returning. And I need to introduce fellow William Zappa.
Thank you, Diana. That's a hard act to follow, too. I'm focused on Beltane, and I am simultaneously here, and I'm in Artemis, Pennsylvania, because my one of my spiritual communities, Four Quarters Farm, an interfaith sanctuary for old world religions, where I learned Egyptian, Celtic, Norse, Native American ritual throughout the year, is having Beltane right now. And so I'm imagining myself on the side of that hill, the pole in the center of the field, bright colored ribbons, people dressed in beautiful colors and going around the maypole. That's the feeling that I have. Beltane, in many of the older Celtic traditions, was less about explaining and more about a simple recognition. The land has crossed a threshold. Life is moving again. In the old calendars of the earth, there is a day when the green world remembers itself. The sap rises. The birds rehearse their songs. Seeds that waited in darkness begin to move. In Celtic lands, this turning is called Beltane, a time when fires were lit in the hills to welcome the growing light. But the real fire was never only in the bonfires. It was in the soil, the warming under our feet, in the courage of the first blossoms, the quiet insistence of life returning. Beltane reminds us that renewal is not an idea, it's a force. A force that moves through forests, through communities, and through each of us. And so today, as we welcome spring in many ways, with poetry, symbols, stories, the altar, we might simply pause and ask, where in my life is the green world returning? What in me is ready to grow again? May we tend that small fire. May we grow into a season of life for all of us. And now let me introduce Paula.
A little stiff today, people. I'm going to read a poem by Emily Dickinson. When you think of her, you think of there was a portrait in the mid-19th century of her with her hair pulled back, a very severe black dress on. But when she was younger, she did a lot of traveling. And maybe something happened, maybe a family tragedy or something, and she became kind of a recluse. But she had a lot of words in her head, and she wrote a lot of poems. Unfortunately, she did not receive the recognition when she was alive. She lived until the 1880s. But she gets a lot of press now, and she's got a lot of good words, and this is a very short poem, but it kind of embodies what spring is about, if my phone works. It's called A Light Exists in Spring. A light exists in spring, not present on the year at any other period, when March is scarcely here. A color stands abroad on solitary fields that science cannot overtake, but human nature feels. It waits upon the lawn, it shows the farthest tree. Upon the furthest slope, you know, it almost speaks to me. Then as horizons step, or noons report away, without the formula of sound, it passes and we stay. A quality of loss affecting our content as trade had suddenly encroached upon a sacrament. The end. Janet, I was told I was supposed to introduce you.
I'm a late addition to the program. When we were at the tea party yesterday and we were talking about this service, we were talking about spring, and I said one of the things that makes me think of spring is daffodils. And if you have ever been on the RWC campus or driven by, there are daffodils everywhere. And they're all beautiful this time of year. So it made me think of the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
I have one more poem by E.E. Cummings. Has one of my favorite words, puddlelicious, puddle wonderful. It's called In-Just. In just spring, when the world is mud luscious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee. And Eddie and Bill come running from marbles and piracies, and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful. The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee. And Betty and Isabel come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring. And the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee. So come up and get something, and you can add it to the altar, and if you like, you can tell us about it, or if you just want to silently put it there, that's fine too. Well, thank you to all of our speakers today. As I said, we have such a creative bunch here, but that's not surprising. If you have, you can still add things to the altar as we're going. Thank you for all your contributions. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Now I am going to extinguish the chalice. We are actually a little early in celebrating spring, but that's okay because we're so anxious for it to come. It's in a few days from now, but may you wake up to sunny skies, no more snow until next December, and beautiful things growing up in your yard.